Hi, I'm Mr. Rosengrant, and I am here with Megan Wysock, the Assistant Director of Admissions at Thaddeus Stevens College. And we're here to learn more about Thaddeus Stevens and some of the programs that they have to offer, and especially want to learn about their early enrollment program, because that's a really great opportunity for our students. So, Megan, why don't you tell us a little more about Thaddeus Stevens College?
Absolutely. So good afternoon. My name is Megan Wysock. As Mr. Rosengrant said, Assistant Director of Admissions here at Thaddeus Stevens College. And I also oversee our early enrollment program that the college offers. Just to give you a little bit of background about Thaddeus Stevens, who we are, where we are obviously located in downtown Lancaster. We actually have 4 different locations all within the city, and we're super excited. We are adding a 5th location this fall. All of the locations are relatively close to one another, but we do provide shuttle services and students are able to have their own transportation as well. We have about 1,300 students total. So for a 2-year college, relatively small in size, but what we do is we take no more than 25 students per major. So yes, 1,300 students total, but when you're actually in your program that you're focused in, it's a much smaller concentrated size, which is great. And a main reason for that is because we want it to be as hands-on as we can make it. So we're really big about students getting into their shop, their lab every single day, figuring out how and why things work, putting things together, taking things apart, running experiments. We really believe that that practical side to learning is key. I'm going to share out the different options that we do offer. Many years ago, we were Stevens Trade, but we really have expanded since then. We have about 24 different associate degree programs. We have certificate programs, and we even have short-term programs as well. So our options, as I mentioned, associate degrees, certificates, and short-term programs. I will be talking a little bit more in detail about early enrollment. And one thing I just want to throw in here, the early enrollment program, students are only able to pursue the 2-year programs and the 1-year certificate programs. For these short-term programs, early enrollment is not an option. So the short-term programs, as you'll see here, we offer production welding and facilities maintenance. These programs are offered more frequently. So in other words, they start more than once a year. They are 6 weeks and 24 weeks in length, respectively. So students are essentially completing the program to get a skill, to get out quickly and start working. The point of contact for these programs is not actually the admissions office, it's my colleague, Amy Welsh. And you will see her number there at the bottom of the screen. She will be the one to assist you with getting more info about the programs. They have a completely separate application process. The cost is different. So she really is the go-to person for someone who's considering the short-term programs. I think the short-term programs are great for a student, like I said, who wants to get in, get out very quickly and start working. Students who complete these particular programs are looking at a starting rate of about $15 to $17 an hour. So let's shift gears to what the admissions office oversees. So now we're talking certificate programs first, and then we will shift gears to our 2-year programs. Okay, so now we're going to talk the 1-year certificate programs, and moving forward, the particular programs we'll be sharing out, they are overseen by our admissions office. So you have your 1-year electrical construction and maintenance program. Common question we get asked about this program is how does it differ than our 2-year electrical tech program, which you'll see in a couple of slides. This 1-year certificate program focuses solely on installation of residential and commercial systems. So for example, the students in this certificate program, they run the wiring for our home construction project. We build a home every single year, and the certificate electrical construction and maintenance students, they oversee the wiring of the entire home. The 2-year program, yes, they're going to touch on residential, commercial wiring, but they expand beyond that and they get into industrial work and high voltage work. A kind of a 2-part question that comes with this, can you take this 1-year certificate and move directly to the 2-year electrical tech program? You could, but taking the certificate first does not cut off any time from the 2-year program. So essentially you'd be looking at 3 years. Nothing's going to transfer in because the curriculum is different. All right, so the 2-year associate degrees, some things we like students to keep in mind. You're going to be a full-time student. Classes are going to be Monday through Friday. The majority of your classes are going to fall between the hours of 7:30 and 4:30 in the afternoon. Does that mean you're in class straight through? It does not. But for planning purposes, there's a class that starts at 7:30 in the morning, and you could be in class till 4:30 in the afternoon. I already mentioned we try to teach as hands-on as we can make it. We aim for between 50 to 75% of your day, your week, your year, your entire degree with us is hands-on. And it's a small class size, 25 students per program, and you actually take your courses in sequence with those other 24 students. So you're really developing a bond with your classmates as well. For the 2-year programs, we break them down into 3 different categories. First category is going to be our making category. You have automotive, collision, machining, diesel, metals, fab and welding, and welding. Diesel is actually our newest program. It will be brand new for this fall. Our new campus, the 5th location that I mentioned in the beginning, is actually going to be a transportation center where we will move automotive and collision to that facility, and then we are adding the diesel. So we're super excited about that. Then you have your building. This is kind of our bread and butter. We were Stevens Trade many years ago, so we still have a pretty significant amount of programs focused in the construction trades. Cabinet making, carpentry, HVAC, masonry, plumbing, and residential remodeling. Kind of a fun fact here, our carpentry program and our remodeling program, they do have an agreement. I call it a 1+2, a 2+1, however you want to look at it. The first year of the programs are identical. So the first year of carpentry and the first year of remodeling, the curriculum is the same. So a student could come and take 2 years in carpentry and then just tack on 1 additional year of remodeling to have 2 degrees in 3 years, or vice versa, 2 years in remodeling, 1 year in carpentry. So that is kind of a unique agreement that we have between those 2 programs. Then you have our ever-growing category. This is the creating category. So this is where we really start talking tech. You have architecture, business administration, computer networking, software engineering, electrical technology, electronic engineering, electromechanical, also called mechatronics, engineering CAD, graphic communications, mechanical engineering, and water environmental. So we are beyond your plumbing and your HVAC, which are phenomenal areas to get into, but we do have a solid business program. Another fun fact, our business program directly articulates to Millersville's business admin program for a 2+2 agreement. It is signed, it is sealed. Millersville will take all of the credits. A student who graduates from our business program would essentially enter Millersville as a junior to do 2 more years to receive the bachelor's degree. Probably, I would say our most unique program that we do offer is our water environmental program. It's one that I do get a lot of questions about. What is it? What exactly does that mean? It's essentially water quality, water treatment. As it stands right now, we are the only DEP certified program in the state of Pennsylvania. So students who are graduating from this particular program really have a leg up as it is to other applicants who are applying for jobs and careers and things like that. So a super unique program. I really enjoy it because it's science focused, but you're really spending a significant amount of time out there in the field. They do a stream study, they do a field study every single week. So I can't plug that enough. I think that that's a really awesome option. One thing that you didn't see is an undecided major. We do not offer an undecided major at Stevens. So we only have you for 2 years. Our goal is to get you in, focused in your program, and then on to the next step, whatever that may be. If you have multiple areas of interest, or maybe Stevens in itself just sounds like a great fit, but not really sure what you would study, it does involve doing a little bit more research on the front end of a program and a career that's going to make you happy and be something you could see yourself doing for many years to come. This could be going on a campus visit. This could be just getting information about the particular program and the courses. It could even be doing some research about the career that you would be entering into. But when you fill out that application, you are essentially declaring your major. Four-year colleges have you for 4 years, and you can take, that first 2 years to take multiple courses and then narrow down what it is you want to study. We only have you for 2. So when you fill out that application, it's really important to know the program that you want to pursue. Obviously, because it's something you're going to study for 2 years, but we are going to evaluate your application based off of the program that you have elected. And different programs do have different qualifications when it comes a little bit farther down the line in the process. So it really is important to make sure the program that you have put down is something you're interested in. If it's an error, if you want to change your major throughout the application process, you obviously are able to do so. And you're obviously able to change your major while you're studying with us. It just kind of makes things a little bit easier if you do your research ahead of time and you know the program that you're applying for is going to be the right fit for you. I want to shift gears to talk a little bit about our early enrollment program, which is an amazing opportunity for students if you're ready for it. And I always stress, if you're ready for it. It's not something that everyone's ready for, and that's totally fine. Early enrollment is a senior year option. So essentially your senior year of high school is your freshman year of college. They happen one and the same. We are the home base in that you take all of your classes with us on our campus. You have to study in a technical program. And then per our agreement with the school district, we work with the high school to identify what courses you need to receive your Donegal diploma. So maybe it's in English, maybe it's a history, and we give you those courses and it counts towards your high school requirement. But it is a full day senior year option. You would not report to the high school at any point during the day unless there would be a senior meeting or something like that where you're able to attend. But we are the home base. All of the classes are taken at Stevens. It is an awesome opportunity if maybe you've gotten to the point with a high school curriculum, you're not really sure what else you would take. Maybe you've exhausted a lot of credits and you don't just want to fill senior year with fluff courses. We obviously offer a lot of programs. So maybe we offer something that the high school simply doesn't offer. And it's also an opportunity for change. Obviously a change of scenery, a change of people. So we typically find our early enrollment students fall into one of 3, maybe even more categories of why they're pursuing this option. There are obviously a couple of advantages to doing early enrollment. First is going to be you're getting to your end goal a year faster, whatever that end goal may be. You're locked in for senior year. We know that. Within about a year's time of graduating from high school, you will have your associate's degree from Stevens. So whether you're going to the workforce, you're going to further your education, you are already a year ahead of others. You get a really nice reduction to tuition. And I think that it really is a big driving factor for a lot of students as to why they consider this option. Whatever standard tuition is, we slice it in half for early enrollers. Currently, tuition is $8,400 for 1 year. Early enrollment tuition, half of that. So $4,200 for the year, $2,100 a semester. There is some financial aid available. It is limited, but there is some aid available. And I will share out the aid opportunities that are available to all students, but I will highlight ones that are specific to our early enrollers because it definitely is slightly different. So here you're going to see our entire cost. We have a commuter and a resident breakdown. One thing about early enrollment, you are only able to commute. But if you are a senior considering Stevens, absolutely you can live on campus. You will see the breakdown. Room, meal plan is optional if you're commuting. One thing I will say about meal plans for my early enrollers, if you do elect to have one, it is at full cost. It is not also reduced by 50%. This is the sticker price. So students see this, they're like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money. Do not get sticker shock when you're looking at cost of colleges because financial aid has not been applied to any of this. And that leads us here to the ways you can pay for college. Both early enrollers and first-time freshmen are able to submit the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. Early enrollers are technically eligible for any federal aid. Early enrollers are not eligible for state aid. So that would be FIA monies. If you are applying during your senior year, you are eligible for FIA monies. Early enrollers are not. We do have internal scholarships at Stevens. Both type of applicants are able to apply for those, and they'll actually open up in a few weeks. So usually in February, they open up. You do one scholarship application, and then you're in the pot for consideration for all of the scholarships. Also, external scholarships for being involved in the community, for being left-handed. You'll have to do your research on those, but we will obviously accept those as well. We have the Stevens Grant, which both early enrollers and first-time freshmen can potentially qualify for, and I'll talk about that on the next slide. And then you also have loans. I always plug this with students. Keep in mind, loans are very different than scholarships and grants. If you receive a scholarship or a grant, essentially that is free monies. There is not a financial implication to pay those monies back. Loans, totally different. A loan is a way to cover a cost. If you just can't write a check out of pocket to cover that cost of college, that loan will cover that upfront for you. But there is a financial implication, and you will have to pay those monies back. Early enrollers and first-time freshmen both qualify for loans as well. So the Stevens Grant is easily one of my most favorite things about working at the college. It comes from FAFSA information, so it's really important for all students to file the FAFSA. When it comes to the Stevens Grant, you either receive this or you do not. There's no gray area. If a student receives the Pell Grant, they are going to receive the Stevens Grant. The Stevens Grant can potentially cover your entire cost of attendance, or it can drastically reduce the cost of attendance. Whether you're on a full grant or a partial grant, if you are receiving any amount of the Stevens Grant, we are always going to order and pay for your textbooks and your tools. Textbooks are a loan, so you do have to return those back, but little tip, as someone who went to college, you don't really use them after the fact, even if you think you're going to. But what's huge here is your tools. We work with industry to ensure that the tools list for all programs really set our students up nicely to be successful into that first career. So for our Stevens Grant students, you get to keep those tools, and that really is starting you off nicely in that first career. Once again, though, Stevens Grant comes from FAFSA information, so you have to file the FAFSA. You either receive it or you do not. No gray area. I know students who pay $50 a semester to come to Stevens. So they essentially will be paying $200 for their entire degree, which is absolutely amazing to think $200, no debt, coming out with a career, a decent paying career, doing something that they love. Our average student loan debt for a student who does have to take out loans is less than $10,000. So if students do have to take out a loan to attend, it is a manageable amount of debt. But the Stevens Grant, I cannot kind of harp its praises enough. It really is an awesome opportunity. About 54% of our student body attends on the Stevens Grant. So we really don't have a limit. If we could have 100% of students attending on it, we absolutely would. But right now we sit at about 54%. A common question that comes up, obviously COVID is going on and we are affected by that. How are we handling campus visits? And campus visits for me personally, I think are really crucial to figuring out where you want to go and where you don't want to go. As it stands right now for the spring, we are doing complete virtual experiences. So we have a virtual guided tour where you actually go online to stevenscollege.edu. And then at the top, you'll see virtual visit, and you will register for a virtual tour. And you will take our virtual tour with one of our tour staff, and they will kind of guide you. It's via Zoom. We do a screen share. You indicate what programs you're interested in, and they're sharing out the same information and facts as if you were on campus, but you're doing it from the comforts of home. You can take that same tour self-guided. It's essentially Google Earth, so you can just play around with that. We are also doing some Enrollment 101 sessions, which will be a little bit later in the spring. We have not yet determined how we plan to operate our spring open house. Our fall open house was completely online, so the spring is kind of TBD because it does draw a pretty big crowd. So I have just been encouraging students to monitor that virtual visit page for different experiences and then the most up-to-date information on the spring open house, just because we really want to do our best to keep people safe, but we know how important it is to get to campus and see things. We are looking to kind of explore a little bit more of our virtual shop offerings for students. So once again, just keep an eye on that virtual visit tab, which is at the very top of stevenscollege.edu. The last thing I want to share out with everyone is my contact information. Feel free, that's why we're here. I know that selecting a college and this entire process can be incredibly intimidating, but that's why we're here. Those of us who work in college admissions, we're here to essentially serve you and get your questions answered. I've been with the college for about 10 years now. So if I don't have the answer myself, I definitely know who to connect you with to get that answer. Whether you're considering one of our 2-year programs and you're a senior, or maybe you're an underclassman considering early enrollment, feel free to reach out and shoot me an email. My name is Megan. Feel free, you can call me Megan. You don't have to call me Mrs. Wysock. My email is still my old last name, so it's dancause@stevenscollege.edu. I can guarantee we've heard every question. I can guarantee we're going to continue to hear questions. And this is your education and your future. So use it as your time to really put that front and center and be selfish and ask the questions that you have. A couple of questions that I've gotten in some recent visits is, if I'm a senior, can I still apply now? Absolutely, you can. The application process is still open. It's an online application, an application fee or fee waiver, and your high school transcript. 3 things to get in to kind of move you along in the process. We have not given out any offers of admission as it stands today on January 7th. They will be going out the end of this month, early next month, so early February. We are anticipating them to hit mailbox. So it really is important, if you haven't applied, if you're still working the process, kind of get it in gear if you want to be considered for that first round. For early enrollers, you have a little bit more time. The early enrollment process does include more things you have to submit. You have a separate online application, you have a fee waiver, high school transcript, a counselor reference form, and a teacher reference form. So there's actually 5 things that are required. And you have until March 1st to complete the entire process. Early enrollment offers and really all enrollment decisions for early enrollment are going to go out in early April. So for my seniors, you still have time, but I would definitely get the ball rolling if you want to be considered for the first round going out here end of this month, early February. My early enrollers, you do have time. For early enrollers as well, February 8th, there will be an information session online for Early Enrollment 101, as we call it, and you're able to register for that online as well, should you want some additional information or if you have some specific questions. But there is time still for both scenarios. I just encourage students to do it sooner rather than later, so that way you're not stressing. After we do our first round of offers here at the end of this month, early next, we will operate on a rolling admissions basis, essentially indicating if we have spots in a program, we will continue to offer students on a rolling basis. Keep in mind though, we only take 25 students per program. So it sounds really nice, like, oh, they're just going to keep offering people. But at the same time, when you're working with a short amount of spots, you really definitely want to get things in early to be considered. I hope you reach out if you have any questions. Mr. Rosengrant, is there anything else?
And the fee waiver for the early enrollment, that is extended to everybody regardless of the financial circumstances, correct?
Correct. So for early enrollers, every early enroller gets a fee waiver, and it doesn't matter, like Mr. Rosengrant said, your financial situation, everyone gets one. For our seniors who are applying, you do have to qualify for free or reduced lunch in order to get a fee waiver.
So this is a great opportunity for our students to spend their senior year earning college credits, and they'll also, those credits that they earn at Thaddeus Stevens will also be applied to their high school transcript, and they'll earn high school credits working towards the graduation requirements. So it's a great opportunity. It's very affordable, and if students qualify for that Stevens grant, it's even more affordable. So, and for some students, it's even completely free. So those students that go in 11th, or they apply in 11th grade and they attend during their senior year, when they graduate from high school, if they want to, they could continue on there at Thaddeus Stevens and do 1 more year there, and they could still potentially qualify for that Stevens grant, and they could finish a 2-year degree program, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So if you apply as an early enroller and you're accepted, let's say, into the water environmental program, you absolutely have a spot for the second year as well. There's no reapplying or anything like that.
Or if they decided after graduating from high school and they have those college credits and maybe they change their mind with what they want to do for the future, they could still attend a different school and transfer those credits in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have a ton of students who do that, but we have, one or two every year that would require withdrawing from our college. And then essentially you would be applying to the other college or university. And then in addition to whatever they want you to submit, you're definitely going to want to request an official Thaddeus Stevens transcript. So that way they see that first year and all of those college level courses that you completed.
All right. So there's still time this year for current juniors that they can go on to the Stevens College website, stevenscollege.edu, or you can just Google Thaddeus Stevens Early Enrollment, and that'll take you right to that page as well. And it really spells it out there. When you scroll down, it really just shows you what to click on to do the different parts of the application. Definitely talk to your school counselor if that's something that you're interested in. And if you're a freshman or sophomore, this is the time to be thinking about that and being prepared for that, keeping your grades up so that you'll be eligible for that. I believe the cutoff is a 2.5 GPA still for the early enrollers.
You got it. It's a 2.5 that we're looking for. Does that mean everybody with a 2.5 gets in? It does not. But having that 2.5 will definitely guarantee you'll be fully reviewed and given full consideration for early enrollment. So definitely if you're an underclassman, 9th or 10th grade, definitely work on maintaining, if not increasing. Common question we get asked, are there any prerequisites or any specific courses we like to see? I like to see on the transcript students who are consistently challenging themselves, taking courses that they're doing well in, but it's also not a cakewalk. Do you have to do something that relates to a program that you're applying to at Stevens? Absolutely not. We get a lot of students who come from the CTC, and that's wonderful, and we see that and we note that. But if you are applying for a program that maybe you've always worked on cars with your dad, your grandpa, your brother, whoever, and it's something that you want to study more formally with us, there's nothing maybe indicated on your Donegal transcript that you've taken formally to study vehicles, that's totally fine. It doesn't mean that you're going to be, behind the 8 ball whatsoever. We assume everybody has zero background knowledge, but more or less when I'm reviewing a transcript, I'm looking at those core subject areas. English, math, how are you doing in those? Are you challenging yourself? All of our programs are going to involve some components of English and math. It's not going to be poetry, short stories, things like that, but there are definitely writing skills, communication skills in every single area that we serve, as well as math. So those are two subject areas I'm definitely honing in on when I receive a transcript.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today and tell us about these great opportunities for our students.
Thank you guys so much. And like I said, please reach out. My email is just dancause@stevenscollege.edu. Happy to help, happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I look forward to working with more Donegal students in the future.